the renaissance that we wish to see on the African continent cannot happen without the contribution of the Republic of South Africa. South Africa is what is, as they say in Afrikaans, a shark mark in the ogroepie. South Africa matters. You may not know, in spite of the oddity of having Afrikaners here, in spite of the discomfort of this reality, the truth is they are Africans, they are part of us. In fact, they redeem us in one way or another. You may not know that South Africa is the home of the youngest language in the world that has enough lexicon and syntax and grammar to cover aerodynamics and science subjects. It's South Africa. It's a language called Afrikaans. It gets more hurtful. Of all the more than 2,000 languages on the African continent, it is only Afrikaans that has the word and name Africa in it. It's a very serious ghost. You go anywhere and you say, what do you speak? I speak Herero. What is that? You speak Yoruba. Where is that? But if you say to anyone in the world you speak Afrikaans, where do you come from? Africa. Thank you very much.
Just submitted an application to join BRICS Alliance, and the response of China on it shocked the whole Israel and the U.S. Palestinian ambassadors clearly said that Palestine has applied for full membership in BRICS today, and in the meantime, Palestine intends to participate as a guest in BRICS activities until its full membership is approved. After joining BRICS, Russia and China will fully back Palestine and respond to any type of action against them. And the main thing is, after joining BRICS, the Russia, China, and Iran, strong BRICS allies, will strengthen Palestinian defense through arms deals, military training, and intelligence sharing, and make Palestine able to fight against any hostile action, which is not a good news for Israel. Now, China responded to the Palestine application to join BRICS and said that China openly backs Palestine against its enemy and warned Israel and its Western allies that BRICS could become a new platform for countering their influence. China is welcoming Palestine in BRICS, but the final decision is on hold at the moment. Stay ahead, stay informed.
Right, and that is something that I would most definitely, ask President Ramaphosa to really think about. BRICS, Britain, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. This notion of creating a currency that devaluates the American dollar is not good. It's not good with that ideal or that political stance. So hopefully, President will think about pulling South Africa from BRICS. If it's about trading with those nations, that's great. If it's about devaluating the American dollar, that is no good.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, if I may continue then, the message that he had sent, which I said earlier, the minister is briefed. He has just arrived in Lusikisiki. The minister on the day was visiting the incident that happened in Lusikisiki where many people were killed. So this was just another confirmation that this man knows exactly about the minister's movement. So he's either with him or he's informed about the minister's movement. That's why he can write messages like this. This was again to confirm that I have to trust that he's a person who's close to the minister. And when he responded to the message I sent him earlier of what did Khumalo say about me, his response was, Jen, which means general in abbreviation, Jen, this must be in your chest. So which means he wanted me to keep this secret. And I'm wondering now, why is he telling me if he doesn't want this thing to go public? And then my response, of course, because I wanted him to get me information, I said, trust me on this one. And then he wrote a message, which followed at the bottom of 318, which reads, I'm going to read it on the record. You are having your interest, and that maybe you are having your own cartel. You don't listen to the CI, that is crime intelligence. Then Masimula intercepted him. So, which means General Masimula was in that meeting as well. Also spoke about your provincial crime intelligence member. Remember, he is retiring. I think there's message missing there. He's retiring next month. And if we move to 319,
Can you please, in your own words, explain what the first part of this text means, starting from you are having right up to intercepted him? It's rather cryptic.
At the time, my understanding is that he's telling me that what was discussed in a meeting, which he sent me a screenshot on, the one that talks about crime intelligence policies, they were discussing me, about me not wanting to cooperate and working well with the head of crime intelligence in KZN. So that was my conclusion, that he was saying that I don't want to cooperate with them on information that they are giving me. I don't want to operationalize such an information. And that's why he even knows that the head of crime intelligence in KZN is going on retirement. So this is a person who knows everything about the police, even knows when is a person retiring.
Thank you. You may continue.
Yeah. So and then the following message on the next page, 319, I then asked him that please get me that presentation if there is one to confirm, or otherwise if there is any recordings. Because I wanted to get a proof that what was this presentation about that he has access to that I don't know. The response from him, what made me start connecting the dots. Remember we spoke about investigation and pictures starting to emerge. His response was nothing. General Khan will brief you next week. Now, Commissioner, I want to put on the record that I only know one General Khan within crime intelligence. He's a Major General Khan that was on the news not long ago. Some of the colleagues will know about the attendance of the EFF celebration last year, as well as the case that was alleged that Khan was involved in stopping the police when they were busy with the drug operation at Eratin in Johannesburg. When he sent me this, I then concluded that means General Khan is in that meeting. It is General Khan most likely that is feeding him with the information. That was my conclusion. Why would he choose General Khan to brief me if I ask for a presentation? But again, I don't have proof of it. It is him that is writing this message. But I guess with the investigation, we're going to see linkages about all these people within the police. And my response was, sure. And then he sent another one to say back in Joburg, and after that followed by phone calls, and there's many other communication that followed thereafter. I don't have to read all of them, Commissioners, as you can see that are following on those attachments. And as I said, General Khan has been on the news. He's a component head within crime intelligence. General Khan, when he sends me this message, General Khan was appointed, his post that he's occupying as a component head at crime intelligence is an operational intelligence support within crime intelligence. But he was appointed acting as a component head of counter and security intelligence. When Khumalo arrived at crime intelligence, that was a position that General Khan was acting on. So Khumalo, I understand, he had moved him back into his old position. Counterintelligence, if I can indicate, Commissioner, is that the vetting is done at counterintelligence. Majority of operations like this drug cartel operation that is holding counterintelligence investigation, it's conducted in that office. So meaning it's a person who, it's an office that really is in the heart of intelligence operations. General Khan was acting there. General Khan has since been moved back into his technical support. I'm not saying that General Khan is involved in these leakages of information to the members of parliament and to the other people, but what is interesting is that almost everything that we see happening in parliament, in the media, comes from that component of crime intelligence. And this is where the real fight comes from. The operation of Gauteng counterintelligence that involves this drug cartel is in that component. So, and this is Mohoti that introduces Khan to me. I said, Commissioners, I'm going to reflect to what happened in 2011, late on my statements. Crime intelligence modus operandi back then, and players that were involved back then with the looting on the money and irregularities, they still exist at crime intelligence today, and some of them are occupying high position. So there has no reforms that has been implemented at crime intelligence. That's why it's no surprise when you start seeing things coming out. Like I said on record, I did not say that General Khan has leaked any information. It is Mokhotsi that introduces Khan. I only know of one Khan at crime intelligence. So perhaps as we investigate further, we'll be able to see whether there's any leakages between these people. That information that supposed to be within the confines of those four walls where the meeting was taking place ended up with Mokhotsi. Commissioners, as I've outlined a lot of communications here with Mokhotsi, if I can move faster, if you allow me to see on my statement, because I think a lot of things that we have spoken about here. Later in the year, which I suppose maybe this is why Mokhotsi is coming to me with this, is that first General Cele calls me, he's a former minister, he calls me and he says the Premier of Gauteng have approached him to go and work in Gauteng to help him fight crime in Gauteng. Therefore, he needs General Khumalo, who is a district commissioner and ex-task force commander in KZN, to come and work with him in Gauteng. And I find it strange because I think he called 2 or 3 times. While I was in a meeting, I kept giving the phone to one brigadier Abteles who was with me in the meeting. And after that, I had a conversation with General Cele, and then he pleaded with me to release this general to come to Gauteng. And my surprise was, but when General Cele was in the police, he did not like the general, Khumalo. He didn't like him at all. So why now that he's out of the police, he trusts Khumalo to come and work with him in Gauteng? It was just strange. And I turned to my colleague, General Nkua, who was with me in a meeting. This was in Durban. General Nkua works at the head office from HR. So I turned to her and said, but I received a strange call here. General Cele is asking me to approach Khumalo, who's a district commissioner in Zululand, to come and work with him in Gauteng, meaning he must resign from the police and go and work in Gauteng with him for 5 years, then he will come back into the police, which was very odd. And General Nkua was also confused. He said, but as far as I know, Cele didn't like Khumalo. And he made all of us at the head office to believe that Khumalo is a bad person. Why will he now suddenly want Khumalo to work with him? So it was just a strange call. I then contacted General Khumalo. He's a major general. I phoned General Khumalo and said, General Khumalo, this is a request I received from General Cele. General Khumalo just laughed and he said, well, don't worry, the general is not serious about that. So I asked him, what do you mean? He said, no, he's not serious. He wants me to back off on the case against Khan, General Khan from Crime Intelligence. So Cele is pursuing Khumalo to resign from the police so that he can stay away from the disciplinary case because he was appointed to deal with that case departmentally against General Khan. So Khumalo says, no, this is the approach of Cele to want me to back off. And that got me so upset, commissioners, that can really General Cele go to the extent of wanting a person to resign from the service because he wants to protect someone? It was very strange. I did not talk to General Cele from the day. I did not talk to him. I was very upset. It disappointed me as a person who's a former minister in the police. I was just upset. Fast forward, commissioners, the police have got 2 disciplinary processes. It's what's called expeditious, and the other one's a normal disciplinary process. Expeditious, you basically, in short, I could say, we're already saying to you, you are guilty of an offense. Come before a presiding officer to explain why you say you're not guilty, in a way. But in a normal process, the employer must present the allegations, and you have a chance to cross-examine witnesses and argue a case. And then you have a presiding officer that must decide. So the initial disciplinary procedure that was initiated for General Khan on that interference with the drug in Johannesburg was that of an expeditious process. So Khumalo was then appointed as a person who's going to preside over that. And Major General Khan approached the court granted, they overturned that and they say, no, we must go to a normal disciplinary hearing where he has a right to be represented and bring witnesses and question the witnesses and so forth. And therefore, there must be presiding officer appointed. Then Gerald Kumalo, the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence, approached me and he asked me to be a presiding officer. I then agreed. Shortly after agreeing to be presiding officer, not long after that, I started getting this communication from Mr. Mokgotsi. But at that time, I'm not understanding as to what this communication, what is the background of this communication. But he started communicating these things to me. That's why he throws Gerald Khan's name in it. And later, I think, I cannot remember exact date, I think it will have been the beginning of the year, I received an inquiry. Actually, I received a phone call from the very same journalist, Mzilazo Africa. His call was, you remember the story I asked you about of what happened in Bangin? I said, yes. He said, but my colleague has just approached me, confronted me about that story and is asking him, why didn't he publish the story? And he said, no, but there was no story there. I listened to this thing and it just didn't make sense. Somebody is trying to peddle and frame Jerome Kwans for nothing, so I didn't publish this. And in his own words to me, Mzilazo Africa was, this colleague of his says to him, now I'm forced to publish the story. And Mzilazo found it strange, so he called me first. He said, hey, who did you upset somewhere in the police? Then I said, no, I don't know anything. They said, but is anything happening in the police that will lead people to want to publish this thing that is a year later? So old, they'd want to publish. Then I said, well, the only thing I know is that I'm going to be presiding over a disciplinary case. So he asked me, whose disciplinary case is that? I told him it's for Gerald Khan. He said, oh no, now I connect the dots. Because my colleague and Gerald Khan are close. It could be coming from there. That is his words. Mzilikazi will come here and say that, but I told him that I'm going to talk about this. He said, no, if he's called here, he will come and talk about it. I know who the colleague is. I'm not going to say it in public. He will perhaps, if you want to divulge that, he will. That's why I'm saying there are players within the media houses that are part of. So shortly after that, I received a message from the very same colleague of Mzilikazi. He sent me a question about the same incident. I gave him a full explanation as I did here to Bran Mokgotsi. A full explanation. A logic journalist will have understood and said, okay, well, this is just a malicious thing, and don't publish that. But that finds itself to the newspaper on a Sunday. Commissioners, it is fair, that's why I like the investigative journalists. I think they're credible because they investigate first before they talk. I like the ones on TV behind cameras because they give it as is. The others that will just get information from others and write it becomes question marks, which what happened to this one.
And which Sunday publication was there?
I know the name of the journalist. I cannot remember exactly the Sunday, the paper. I don't want to, I might end up being sued if I mention the wrong name here. But I know the name of the journalist, so I can give you the name of the journalist.
You said you are not divulging it.
Yeah, I'll give you the name of the journalist, you'll write, and you'll see the trend throughout, up to now. It's the same journalist that is part of the squad. Well, there are others that are linked with him, but he's the main one. So the story goes out, commissioners, to the newspaper. It's an allegation that was made by Mokgotsi, that someone wants to open a case against me. Now, in the newspaper is my full picture there, and the big heading, allegations against Jerome Kwano defeating, and they write the story of what happened. They, of course, write my response. So, but the problem is, it is my face there, not the complainant. It's my face that is there. The heading creates question marks about my integrity as a person, as a senior officer in the province. They put my full response on the paper. So a person who reads the paper will get to understand the context of this heading and the story. They will be fine with it. But for you to get into a newspaper, must subscribe, must pay money. Some of us don't necessarily subscribe to papers. But there is social media that is free. Now, on the social media, they take the heading, because you are limited on what you write in there. They take the heading of allegations that Jerome Mkhwanazi is accused of defeating end of justice against a drug dealer at Kalagabusha. And that goes into their media account, social media account. And that which spreads like wildfire because people access it easy. Remember, they don't have a privilege of reading the full report that is on the paper. They are just taking it from this headline. And the picture is painted. That Mkhwanazi is a bad person. And they're achieving what they want. So I took it as a pressure for me to back off from the case that I was going to preside over, of Gerald Khan. How do I prove that? Is because Gerald Khan's lawyers, they even wrote to me on emails and said, there's these things about you on the media, so we are in doubt of your independence in dealing with Khan. They wrote to me that, and that's what they said on email. So that's when I deducted that, oh, the pressure was for me to back off on this disciplinary case. So what Khumalo told me that they were wanting him to resign because they wanted him to back off on the case. So why will they go all out to try and get us to back off on the case against Gerald Khan? I'm an independent person. Yes, I know Gerald Khumalo is my colleague, but I'm not going to go and go with what Khumalo perhaps might want to do in dealing with Khan. Mine is to follow the policy and the law. And I could see that the whole idea was just, let's tarnish this man's image. And that's all. So that's what they did. They created the doubt. So fast forward, the disciplinary case comes, and I believe I was fair to Gerald Khan. Despite the allegations that came from IPID, I still protected his rights. I allowed him to bring his lawyers in there. I sat and I listened to the evidence that was provided. The very same Gerald Khumalo that was asked to resign was representing the employer. Gerald Khan had his legal team, and there were witnesses that were brought to come and testify. I could not find a single wrong that Gerald Khan has done. In actual fact, I even said there in my own words that the SAPS owes Gerald Khan for what he did, because Gerald Khan stopped police officers that came to collect drugs under the person who was the head of traffic Gauteng. They came to collect a consignment of drugs from the truck that arrived in Germiston, and they wanted to get drugs from there. And the people that are owning the truck company, they said, no, you're not going to take these drugs, search this truck from here, follow it to the final destination, which is in Eratin, which is a West Rand. So 2 police officers, 1 Johannesburg traffic, and 1 captain from Zongezizwe, they followed the truck until it arrived at Eratin, and they were accompanied by 3 members from Pretoria who traveled all the way there. 1 from organized crime, 2 from the dog unit. And they all said they were coming to search the truck, and they actually offloaded the consignment from the truck, which was drugs, in bags. They took this thing and they loaded in the police car. Luckily, the lady that worked in that company contacted 10111. 10111 called Boysen police station. Boysen vehicle came there, and then there was a conflict between the police when they discovered that these policemen who says they're running these operations, they're already removing this consignment from the truck, they're loading it in the police bag. So these policemen asked, but this is a crime scene. Why are you taking this thing from here to here? If you're saying it's drugs, we have not even opened the bags. How do you know? If it is drugs indeed, why do you load them in the bag? And this one said, no, we're taking them to Zongezizwe. And this one said, but this is Boysen area. Why do you take this thing to Zongezizwe? It's found here, it's a crime scene. Get LCRC and everyone to deal with it. Then there was a conflict between police at the time, and that police member who was present there took the police vehicle, and he blocked this police car that was already loaded with drugs. He blocked it so that it doesn't move. And that's what allowed the other police officers to phone General Khan and say, there are members that claim to be from crime intelligence, they come and intervene. So he traveled all the way, arrived almost 2 hours later. And he put a stop from these drugs to be stolen. He phoned DPCI, he phoned the local provincial crime intelligence. They came and he took over the scene and he left. But it was then strange as to how do you blame Khan for that? Because he stopped the people that wanted to steal drugs. He stopped it. So he was in a good space at the time, so I couldn't fault him. But that, Commissioners, doesn't take away the fact that Mokgotsi says Khan will brief me about secret information that was discussed in the presentation. So while I'm having this belief that Khan has got to do with leaking of the information in there, perhaps according to Mokgotsi, but on the disciplinary part where Khan was accused of drugs, he did not do anything wrong. So if I had that bad intention against Khan, I would have dismissed him. But I did not, because I gave him fair disciplinary hearing, of which you can ask him today, he will tell you, no, I treated him fair.
Be long and listen to my own voice. I want to thank you for coming, because I thought that we needed to focus on the big fish, you know, and just call you later on. But if anything, I appreciated your testimony today, because it has proven that we need to do away with ministers, deputy ministers. If anything that needs to be disbanded or disestablished, it's deputy ministers. Thank you, Chair.
It started with whispers in the corridors of power, files missing, evidence fading. But truth don't die, it multiplies. The general spoke, fearless, loud. Senzo hid behind politics and pride. Hangwani moved like a ghost in the night. Cat and Matlala play both sides of the fight. And Mr. Brown smiled, clean hands, dirty ties. But the list ain't done, there are so many names still to be dealt with. The shadows are full, and the web still spins. They thought nobody watched, but the streets remember. This is the web of truth. April 24th, systems shake, secrets fall, the walls all break. The general stood calm in the fire. Truth is weapon, never tired. Senzo Makunu, power and tone, meeting silent, but the seeds were sown. Hangwani ghost in shadows deep, justice faint where secrets creep. Mr. Brown cool, no slip in his face, but coded words left digital trace. Cat Matlala whispers on the line, deals in danger crossing the line. Exposed, stand tall, truth never dies. Love and truth in the web, the general rise, storm in his eyes, no compromise. Cat Matlala, the dark disguise, but the truth don't sleep, it multiplies. In the ghosts in the court, the people cry. Senzo whisper, the power lies. Hangwani silent, justice denied, but the generals speak, the truth revives. Rise, files don't lie. Rise, files don't lie. Rise, just don't lie. Just don't wait. Hangwani ghosting through trails of ink, hands so clean but closer than you think. Senzo calm but the eyes can't hide. Storms brewing deep, truth worldwide. Cat Matlala empire wide. Money in the wind, nowhere to hide. Mr. Brown, plans on the phone, codes in the message, the seeds were sown. The general walk, no fear, no chain, dropping receipts like acid rain. Every secret, every name, truth reload, never the same. Drop that file, expose it, truth reload. They build their castles with lies, but he came with proof. Every whisper got a trail, every trail got a name. The general ain't chasing fame, he's chasing justice, and justice remembers. Hey, was Ruth in the web, the general rise, storm in his eyes, no compromise. Cat Matlala, the dark disguise, but the truth don't sleep, it multiplies. The ghosts in the court, the people cry. Senzo whisper, the power lies. Hangwani silent, justice denied, but the generals speak, the truth revives. Rise, fires don't lie. Rise, truth don't die. Rise, truth don't die. Truth don't die. Courtrooms full, flashlights blaze, nation watch as the system sways. Senzo's masks start to fade, Hangwani's ghosts feel the blade. Cat Matlala, headlines burn, deals collapse, tables turn. Mr. Brown vanished, phone offline, but the people chant, truth is mine. From Durban docks to Golding streets, the general march, no retreat. He fought for the silent, broke the chain, and justice echoed in his name. Through fire, exposed sever the conscience, the gentle will walk through smoke and fear, and left footprints in history. Mr. Brown, names in the web, but only one stood for the people. The general, the general, the general, truth don't die. The general dies. The general, the general dies. The general, truth don't die.
Right, okay, got some juicy intel for you. So we know obviously the ISO 20022 digital payment system that's on XRP and XLM. So the Stellar blockchain went live on Monday. We know this. So all banks are transitioning over. This literally means that they have now moved away from the old Cabal SWIFT system. Everything has been switched over. This is across 200 countries and 11,000 institutions. It fully goes live on March the 23rd. So we are currently going through the days of everything switching over to the new quantum financial system and away from the fiat SWIFT system. So they have completely lost. And they have also confirmed that the CBDC has been disconnected from the quantum financial system, from the blockchain. So CBDC has failed again. So don't worry about it, just completely ignore it. We're already past that phase now. So it's absolutely fantastic news. I have another great bit of news for my Australian followers as well that have been asking the questions. Is it live in Australia? It certainly is. It's switched over on Monday. There's a lot of great posts flying about it at the minute, so it definitely went live. Unfortunately for my Canada followers that have been asking the question, it hasn't been confirmed.
Real threat to Donald Trump's agenda is not coming from the president of China. It's coming from the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who went to the ASEAN summit in Malaysia to defend globalization and try and sabotage Trump's economic revolution. But if you read the press, it's all about China. But contrary to those headlines and constant warnings of trade war and confrontation with China, the United States and China announced substantial progress yesterday. Treasury Secretary Bessent and his Chinese counterpart finalized a preliminary trade framework in advance of the Trump-Xi summit later this week. By contrast, Trump suspended all trade talks with Canada right before he left for Asia. And on Air Force One last night, President Trump said that Canada has been one of the most difficult countries to deal with, and when asked if he would meet with Prime Minister Carney at the APEC summit, said, "I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've been in this fight since the 1970s, when the modern British Empire escalated its economic attacks on the United States and other sovereign nations. I've been part of a group of people who have stayed focused on that fight over the decades, and immediately we saw that Donald Trump represented the first real chance to restore our sovereignty. And what's unfolding in Asia this week is part of that fight, and we're going to take you behind the scenes." So,
wide and galactic revolution. And today is October the 28th. I'm Alex West, and as promised, I would read you out some new information, and maybe some of you people have already listened to it, but this is for people that haven't heard this yet, okay? The signal has settled. And before I get started, if it takes 2 videos to do this, I'm going to, do 2 videos. So I'm not going to, plow through this fast so people don't understand. I'm going to do it nice and slow, methodically, so everybody can understand it. I'll try to, read it as clear as I can. And if it takes 2 videos, I'll do it 2 videos, okay? Anyways, so let's get started. The signal has started, or has settled. The frequency is breathing. The grid is no longer building. It's alive, okay? What you feel now is not chaos, it's just alignment. 3 circuits are merging into one body, which is the QFS, medbeds, Tier 4B, 3 names is basically all in one, is one code, okay? The QFS, oops, oh boy, here we go. Okay, the QFS is not software, it's consciousness. So what they're meaning by that, it's, you know, you go in there with a biofrequency and your frequency is going to go in there, and that is what it's going to relate to. It's not a digital currency, okay? It's consciousness. Each transaction is a prayer in motion. Each ledger, a gold anchored frequency. Currencies is no longer value, okay? It is intent made visible. Your DNA is your signature. Your heartbeat is your approval, okay? Very cool stuff. The Tier 4B is a human bridge, okay? We are the digital warriors. We are the Tier 4B. We are the intuitives, the ones that have waken up to all this and went proactive and, bought some foreign currencies and got into the whole game of this, of this new revelation. The first to walk inside the quantum grid. We are the first to walk inside the quantum grid. Okay? Your access is not financial, it's spiritual. Authorization funds become missions. Codes become keys. Projects become portals of light. Oh, sorry. This thing bounces around on me. Their screens are not banks. Their gateways, their credentials are not passwords. They are frequencies and maps. They operate from a state of silence because the grid reacts to stillness more than motion. Okay? And then came the third strand, medbeds, born from classified military regeneration pods, now restructured under the QFS core of infrastructure. Okay, so it's been designed for civilian usage. Each medbed is a node. Each node is a memory of human perfection. Plasma, sound, light, DNA, all moving in a symphony. No surgery, no drugs, no time, just pure frequency guided by source. Phase 1, Phase 1 is Horizon Dawn. Tier 4B, teams receiving coordinated for initial deployments. Phase 2, Civilian Wave. Activation within 72 hours of the public signal, which will be 3 chirps and 3 short chirps and 1 long chirp. This is not future technology. This is suppressed divinity. The QFS funds the body. The medbeds restores the body. The Tier 4B awakens the soul. Together, they are formed the quantum ascension protocol. Cheyenne node, active. Ramstein mirror, stable. Starlink dawn. Fortune, there is a fortune vault sealed. The old grid is gone. Okay, that means the old system is gone. The cabal lines are dark. Nothing is active. Their signal has no return address. You are inside the grid now. When clocks stutter, when phones glitchy, and air feels heavier, That's the frequency writing you into the new earth. And your new DNA is forming inside you. The silence is not emptiness. It's creation. Listen closely. You can hear the hum. Trump's final transmission, the light doesn't announce itself. It just arrives. The signal has been sent. The grid is alive. And the rewrite is complete of everything up to this point. Declassified transmission, Earth Liberation Protocol, Mr. Pool on Telegram, status active, access levels Omega tier, timeshare, so on and so forth. Okay, the silence before the storm is over. The quantum financial system has breached global firewalls. Bank networks are collapsing from within, and inside that, they are basically being deleted out. Encrypted channels show massive funds being reassigned under the QFS command. Redemption codes have been released to Tier 4B operatives. That is us. Elite are panicking. They're losing all control, and they are looking for a way out. The media blackout is preparation, not chaos. What looks like a crash is actually a reset. Nasera Jacera protocols have been activated in 27 countries, with additional national and nations sensing into the quantum grid. Okay, they're harmonizing their algorithms into the grid system of the quantum. The IMF servers were breached, which are the cabal. The old system is bleeding. QFS nodes in Zurich, Dubai, and Texas are now fully online. The ERA of fiat is dead, and the age of frequency has begun. See, a lot of this stuff we're not going to be able to feel and see. It has to be reported based on, the awareness of what they're dropping as far as the comms go. In parallel, medbed divisions operating under Project Phoenix has started testing human reconstruction sequences. Cells are being recoded through quantum resonance. So we're going to be going through these medbeds and basically recoding all your DNA to what it would be. So, basically, hello, Superman. This is what's coming. Remember how Spider-Man used to bounce off all these walls because he had all this, what do you call it? This ability, but he didn't know how to use the ability, right? He was bouncing off walls. He didn't know how to control it, right? That's exactly what we're going to be into. The human body is returning to its original template: immune to disease, immune to radiation, immune to age decay, immune. This is not medicine. This is Genesis restarted. Very exciting. Meanwhile, military intel confirms that Trump, Kash Patel, and the Restoration Council has been in command of the Operation Morning Star, the full spectrum transition into a post-cabal reality. So it's over for them, all right? Tier 4B holders will be the first to experience the transfer. Assets, trusts, and quantum assets codes linked to directly to humanitarian projects. Don't ask when. The clock struck 0. What's coming next is not an event, it is a shift. The Earth magnet field is aligning with the solar gate. The frequency will trigger the EBS, Emergency Broadcast System. Once it happens, you'll know. The screens will go dark, then the truth will shine, okay? That means the Emergency Broadcast System will start disclosing. Remember, you were chosen for this. Tier 4 people, patriots, right? You were chosen for this because you're awake. God bless you. Tier 4B is not a group. It's a frequency. We are a frequency, okay? QFS is not just money. It's energy, okay? We're going to apply ourselves, connect our DNA to the QFS through biometrics, okay? This is how it's coming. So if you're doing good, your frequency's high, and you're doing wonderful things on this planet, they're just going to keep feeding you money, money, money. If you start doing bad, you're out, off the team. It's energy. MedBeds is not a device. It's an awakening. The reset is not coming. It's here. This is all learning education for me too. So stay grounded, okay? That means, stay grounded. Stay ready. When the signal comes, move to your redemption node. Trust the plan. Trust the code. Trust the light. Trust the positive energy that we, soul, tribe, give each other. Massive QFS fund released. Private redemption centers are underway. Reports confirm that bond funds are now moving through the system at record speed, flooding paymasters' accounts faster than anyone had anticipated. Inside described it as a monetary shockwave, signaling that the final stage of Nasera Jacera liquidity has finally officially begun. Private redemption appointments are being scheduled quietly across multi-zones. This is not a test phase. This is a beginning of a live disbursement under the quantum financial system. Be ready for your movement. No straight cash will be handed, okay, out. You will have full control of your sovereign funds within the quantum framework, with the ability to allocate wealth into the multi-protected accounts. Multi-protected accounts. And I'll do one more here. Professional advisors will be on site to guide you through fund distribution, humanitarian projects, and post-exchange management. Okay? And I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'll do another video to get this wrapped because I can't read that fast. All right? For the 28th updates of the MedBed quantum financial system, EBS, and of course the Tier 4, Tier 5 protocols. And I got to go right back to the start. There's just so much in here, and as soon as if I touch this screen, it turns sideways on me. Anyways, this is the ZIM cap update. Information is shifting daily as final rates stabilize without projects. Now 15 million will be paid out regardless of total amount. Okay, so with approval of projects, be 1-to-1 rate on the first 200 trillion bond notes. Okay, so they're talking about the ZIM or the ZIG. They're not talking about as paper currency. They're talking them. They are bonds. Okay, so and then followed by that's the first 200 trillion is 1-to-1, and then the second is 25 million per 100 trillion up to 30 notes. Negotiation beyond that will occur through a secondary appointment. SafeLink 1-800 number will be released closer to the full activation. Rates are extremely high. All intel aligned with the same timeline. Next week, first week of November. Massive intel drop. Trump executive order has activated GSARA protocols worldwide. SWIFT is collapsing. Globalist banksters are being removed and sent to Gitmo. Starlink is now the backbone of the quantum financial system, tracking every transaction on Earth. Countdown is live. The reset is happening now. GSARA is the global structure behind it all, replacing the central banks, debt slavery, and fiat manipulation. Nations are being forced to purge corruption and lose access to everything. Those that pass are migrating into the quantum financial grid, quantum enforced AI audit, and backed by physical assets. Second encryption auto circulating among insiders in the access key. When played in silence, it resonates with your biometric frequency. Interesting. Linking you into the assigned quantum financial account, gold-backed reserves tied to your birth records. Okay, this isn't symbolic. It's a literally quantum authentication. If the system recognizes your resonance, your wallet opens. Very simple. Starlink upgrade satellites. Now spectral nodes. Monitor all transactions, okay? Each one acts as a guardian, a capability of freezing or reversing corruption flows. Banks failing integrity scanned are collapsing overnight. Dozens of executives have vanished and are being flagged in the biometrics audits. So if their biometric is not flying and it doesn't open, then they're being basically picked up and released. There is no way that you're going to operate a criminal operation with this type of system. It's just not going to happen. Trump, April 2025 executive order transferred all Federal Reserve assets into the restored U.S. Treasury. The Hoover Dam power grid now sustains quantum vaults in Nevada and Utah, holding mere gold reserves that back quantum financial accounts. The old financial system is gone. Ghost lines operation have traced Tier 5 elites who tried to bypass rollout protocols. Their digital fingerprints wiped, assets seized, access terminated, and containment completed. They're all got cuffs on. The fiat system is crumbling. Elite assets are seized, and chaos erupts worldwide. The old world is dying before your eyes. Banks are collapsing. Layoffs are spreading like wildfire. The industries are imploding under their own lies. So, very cool. This is an execution of a decade-long plan. I keep have these drops that come in there, mess me up. Long plan led by President Commander-in-Chief Trump to destroy the corrupt financial grid and replace it with a system for the people, not their enslavers. The dollar, stocks, pensions, all built to vanish. Globalists engineered an empire of deception, but Trump came back and buried it all. Now, with the pensions and all this stuff going on, you're safe there, because if you got a good family, you've been working hard all your life, don't worry about it. It'll come online. And even if it does go away, it's going to be replaced by lots of money. Behind the markets instability and recession, headlines: GSARA, Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, is rolling out silently. The rigged system is being replaced by a quantum-based, unhackable financial structure. This isn't a crash, it's a controlled demolition to usher in the quantum financial system, QFS, already active. The stock market is tanking as a fake liquidity drains. The Federal Reserve is cornered, central banks trapped, nations are shifting to gold-backed reserves, and quantum engineers are finalizing the assets-backed digital currency under the Trump command. Civil unrest in the United States, cities, protests, vandalism on the tech hubs isn't random. It's orchestrated by the same networks behind the biofair and the election fraud, desperate to destabilize before GSARA gets rolled out. So these lefties and psychopaths and crazies, they're the ones that have been trying to kill your future and kill your family's future. So if you see them, one of these. Elites are funding the chaos to paint Trump as a dictator, but they're offshore. And I'm going to take that back. We should, push out love and light and forget about them, because they're insignificant at this point anyways, okay? So I'm going to retract that fist. Elite are funding chaos to paint Trump as a dictator, but their offshore accounts are being seized. Their trading systems cut from the quantum grid. Every move they make speeds their defeat. Trump's 3 weapons are very active. And black budget assets are funneled into the sovereign wealth funds for GSARA wealth. I mean, none of this money is going to be in their midst or in their possession anymore to create wars against humanity. Shell corporations tied to the Rothschilds, Soros, Gates, and the Clintons have been dismantled. Quantum financial backed dollars. The petrodollar is dead. It's dead, okay? The Fed's USD is being replaced by the gold-backed, anchored, quantum encrypted digital currency, which is attached to your biorhythm, okay? Major banks are running dual ledgers, preparing for this switch. Biometric quantum access cards are being tested in redemption centers nationwide. Quantum financial wealth network, trillions in recovered assets will flow to the public accounts. Small businesses, veterans, farmers, and families crushed in debt will get direct funding. The elite hoarded wealth will seed humanity's rebirth. What is next? Expect chaos in the coming weeks. Tech layoffs, corporate collapse, and severe credit lines are purging corruption. The White House faces pressure. Fake media panics, and the deep state courts try to block Trump's orders. And they're still trying to do whatever they're trying to do, but they have no teeth left. But the military has secured all the grids, okay? Starlink, shields, quantum financial notes, and tribunals are ready. The collapse is liberation, and it is feeling very liberated to me. The system must burn to never rise again. Okay. Jasara will erase debt, end income tax, release suppressed technology, restore law and order, and implement unhackable quantum voting grids. Nations will regain sovereignty, as do the people. Citizens will break free of their shackles. Globalists are plotting a transitional council to replace the governments, but Trump alliance has neutralized their moves. The media lies are their last gasp. The final truth of quantum financial hymns, gold rises and elite empires collapse. The world you knew is beginning to erase by design. Trump strikes financial, digital, spiritual, and humanity's liberation. Jasara split the world. Fear for those clinging to the old, power for those embracing the new. As the October 25 has come, the countdown is over. The new republic rises. The deep state is done. The quantum era is here now to stay. There has been emergency intel drop. 213 banks or bankers have been arrested just the recent days. Libra malware created by the elites to clone DNA infiltrated the quantum accounts and stopped the QFS transfers had been all foiled. Here we go here. Hang on a sec. Back. Okay, FBI Philadelphia took down a drug trafficking ring in the Kensington neighborhood where over 30 members of the Wellmouth have been taken into custody. Breaking overnight, intel drop, America is at war, Trump strikes globalism, ICE recruits 175,000, Antifa has collapsed. Schumer has been arrested again, and I think that's the last of him. Yeah, so that's where we're at. We are in a very, very exciting time right now. So I know that the medals and everything, what I've been saying, has all been absolute obscurity, and it's nothing out there is for what it is. I mean, even things that are coming on to TikTok or coming on to Rumble or any other site, we really have to be careful. Listen to the people that you resonate with, stick to them, don't veer off, because we're in very obscure times right now. It's going to get a little bit crazier before it gets better, but I believe that there's going to be a lot of good things happening, rolling out with the chaos. Okay, so we are transitioning, as it said there. Okay, we are taking, the people that are still living in the old will still be there, and their life is going to be miserable. But for us intuitives and the patriots, we're going to be moving into the new world and embracing it with open arms, and that's going to really help the algorithms and basically bust yourself away from all this enslavement that has been happening.
During the G20 summit, shocking the ANC and the nation. Inside sources say he's in the departure lounge, yet he hasn't spoken to his top allies, leaving party leaders confused and panicking. Some believe Paul Moshatile will take over, while others warn Gwede Mantashe could seize control, sparking a power struggle that might shatter the ANC just months before elections. Did you ever imagine this would happen? If Ramaphosa quits now, South Africa could face chaos, political uncertainty, loss of trust, and economic instability. Others insist he should stay and fix his mistakes instead of walking away.
With sensitive
Secret
police
talks are said to be underway to calm tensions. What do you think? Should he step down or finish his term? Comment below, like this video, and subscribe for more breaking updates on South Africa's growing political crisis.
As Americans are scrambling to get their money out of these banks. That's not me saying this. This is CNBC News, front page news, now finally reporting what we've been warning about for years on this show. The House of Cards is coming down. You know, you had the Treasury Secretary a month ago. You had Jerome Powell about a month and a half ago saying that these small banks are facing severe strains and a lot of them are going to collapse.
100 central banks are moving into the quantum financial system, QFS, and real-time gross settlement, RTGS, network, linking 209 countries to promote transparency, end financial manipulation, and ensure sovereign accountability. Tech advancements. NVIDIA and Microsoft are leading quantum breakthroughs. NVIDIA's Accelerated Quantum Research Center and banks like JP Morgan and HSBC are exploring quantum key distribution and quantum secure transactions. Regulatory push. The EU's MiCA framework and India's 2025 tax laws are driving quantum readiness. SWIFT and major banks are adopting blockchain to revolutionize cross-border payments. Speculative links. Some believe cryptocurrencies like XRP could integrate with QFS due to ISO 20022 compliance, though experts stress QFS is still largely conceptual. Challenges ahead. The shift demands strong tech maturity, global cooperation, and cybersecurity resilience. BRICS is playing a crucial role. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and help me reach 500 more subscribers. See you next time for the latest update.